Let's do this.
Dude, let's do this. Dude, I love that outfit. You look like Mad Men. You look like an episode of Mad Men.
Got the fucking Cole Hans to match to boot.
Oh, dude.
Ready to go.
Dude, that's a drippy fit. When I come up, we should just, because I have suspenders, we should just go out like that. Just go out with
Uh,
suspenders.
the one thing downfall to that is I went out rocking some. I had a purple Brooks Brothers shirt on, purple checkered, some suspenders, purple towel shoes. I had about four gay dudes hit on me and like come up start playing with my suspenders in downtown Columbus.
You know what, though? I take that as a compliment. I,
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I just say, hey, thanks, man, appreciate it. Like,
I take that as someone
gay
is
dudes
telling you,
got good style.
yeah, oh, 100%. 100%. Um, yeah, no, that's definitely a compliment right there, buddy. All right, man. So we got lots to talk about tonight. Welcome back, Recliner Sports Reporters. Thank you so
What's up,
much.
everybody?
Everyone, thank you too who are just tuning in for the first time. We are Recliner Sports Report. We are a social media company that uses our platform to raise money for communities and charities. So please drop a like and a comment and a share.
Come
Everything.
subscribe.
Oh, and subscribe, all that good stuff. It goes to helping our mission and helping out others in need. Um, so, uh, Opening day baseball last week, buddy, and what a fun weekend! And it's good to see baseball back. We're done with the spring training. Talk to me.
So
What was your first kind of thoughts after this opening? Way too early thoughts on how baseball's going right now.
and I just baseball's my favorite time of the year. I love it. You have games going every single day, and Cleveland Indians are the first thing I fell in love with as a kid. Guardians now, whatever you want to call them, they'll always be the Indians to me. But like, just something about watching those games. It doesn't matter if it starts at 10:05 at night, and I can't stay up for the end of it. It just makes you happier. It's just baseball is just pure Americana, and there's just something about that sport that it just makes you feel good. You know, the nice weather's coming, the sun shines right around the corner. That's the best time of the year. I mean, what's better than going to a ball game, getting a hot dog, some peanuts, a couple beers, and sitting there with your friends and just relaxing and enjoying it? Maybe getting some fireworks after the game. It doesn't beat that.
Dude, that's so funny you said beer, hot dogs, and peanuts. There was this image today that had like a bunch of things. Like it had beer, an image of a beer, a hot dog, a peanut, pizza, soda, fries, and each one was numbered. And it was like, what three items could you, if you could only choose three items at a baseball game, what would you pick? And I picked beer, hot dog, and peanuts. That is crazy.
Baseball, man. That's just what it
Dude,
is. It just
those
feels
are the
right.
three essentials to a baseball game. When I was little, it was a soda. But now I remember down here, they're the Mighty Muscles now. But down in Fort Myers, we had it used to be the Miracle, and they still have it now. But I loved this time of year for the minor leagues because there was always dollar beer nights, and the
Yeah.
parents we would go and the parents would have a great time. But on Fridays, it was fireworks and all you could eat hot dogs. And
Yeah.
that
Oh,
dude, all
that's
you can eat hot
dangerous.
dogs. And I'm telling you, in high school, when all of us linemen, five of us linemen are going and trying to see who can eat the most hot dogs, like that that is a Friday night, my friend.
Oh yeah.
And then, like you said,
Uh,
you get the fireworks at the end. Oh, I
heck,
love it. Yeah, it's been like you said, it's fun to have it back. I think like you said, it's almost like weather changing. Like the changing of the seasons. You're getting, especially like up north, you're getting out of those winter months. Now, betting baseball, man, what has been I have something that I can't wait to share, but I want to hear from you first. What has been some early lines that you're seeing, and what are some things for the viewers that you think that they should kind of try to hone in on early on in the season? Because again, I think like with every season, right? Like it's
mhm.
hard to just start making seeing patterns and placing bets. But what are some things that you're kind of focusing in on right now as the season's getting started?
So I when it comes to baseball, this is my first year getting to like legally bet on it. But you got guys that are consistently 300 plus hitters. And if you look at their lines, you're getting better than 3-1 odds on it. So if you consistently can bet out a 300 hitter to get a hit every single night, it's going to eventually pay off. But I've had fun with the Indians so far, or Guardians. They have a lot of guys that they're base hitters. They get on base. They find ways. I just love this team. They have no quit in them. Will Brennan had a quote last night after the game. Even though they blew a 2-run lead with our all-star closer Emmanuel Clase, which that probably won't happen 5 times this year, blew a 2-run lead in the ninth. They still came back and won it in overtime. We were down 3 or 4 runs early in the game too. But Brennan's quote after the game was, "The thing about this team is we never believe we're going to lose a game no matter what the situation is. We always think no matter what that we're going to win." And when you have a team like that everybody has that mentality, baseball doesn't get huge lines. I feel confident at 1.5 runs, 2.5 runs. If I'm getting the Guardians, I'm taking that every single night. It doesn't matter. They may not, I know nobody's going to win 162 games out of the year, but I don't think these guys get blown out 20 games all season just because they all seem like they had that same type of mentality. I feel like I did when I was younger, that they hate to lose almost more than they like to win. And they just don't want to lose no matter what. It's like a pride thing that there's 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth, they're down 4. Their thought process is, well, I can't be the guy that ends the game. I got to give my next guy up a shot. And the whole team 1 through 9 thinks that way. So when you have a team that just doesn't have any quit in them, I'm thinking the Guardians are going to be fun for me this season. So far on them, I've placed roughly 37, I think it was $38 in bets. I've won out about 280 or so far. I had a 7-leg and a 9-leg parlay so far in the last 3 nights, and it just makes it fun.
Yeah. So your parlays, you're saying what are you working into your parlays there?
So I like Stephen Kwan every single night. He's not going to get a hit every single night, but 8 times out of 10, I feel like he is. Ahmed Rosario, same thing. Anytime there's a right-handed pitcher, I'm taking Josh Naylor for a hit and an RBI. Same with Jose Ramirez. The dude's just an animal. When he's healthy, he's a top 5 hitter in all of baseball. I like him for a hit and an RBI every night. No, it's not going to happen, but still like that. Anytime Bieber's pitching, I'm taking 6+ on the strikeouts. And then so far, and it's paid off so far, I've just been taking Jose Ramirez, Josh Naylor, and Oscar Gonzalez, throwing like $1 a piece on them for a home run every night. And they're usually sitting around plus 600-ish. One of those 3 guys hits a home run every other game, and you're at least breaking even.
Right. Exactly. And again, I like that. It's almost like, again, like you were saying, you're playing the odds well enough to know, like, hey, it's not going to happen all the time, but like you're getting enough odds that you're going to make your money back if you just consistently bet it, right? So that brings me that I'm glad you said that, right? Because that brings me to now. I'm stay the strategy. And last year, when we talked about the strategy last year, I swear it was like Vegas was looking on and it started to trend downwards, but it rallied back up towards the end of last season. So this was a betting formula that we used last season. It ended up with a 74. It ended with a 74% hit rate. This year we have won 15 games and only have lost 4 games. So it's sitting right now at a 78% hit rate, which again, that's close to like what you're saying, that 80% hit rate. And again, it's like at that point, it's not just like, it's like kind of like when you're playing blackjack, you're going to have losers in there, but if you're consistently betting the patterns, I'm a firm believer that for the majority of the things, you're going to make your money back and have some sort of profit. So our formula, drum roll, because I know we've been teasing it for a little bit now. For those who didn't hear it last year, the formula goes as follows. Any game where the total runs is 8, so the over and under is set at 8 runs or less. and it is favored. The over is favored. So that means not a pick 'em at -110. It's got to be either -115, -120, or higher. Take that. There is one exception to this rule, and that is the Houston Astros. And the reason it being is because the Houston Astros had an 80% under hit rate last year. So again, 8-6, favored, take it. This year, like I said, and again, there's been some games that we haven't taken all of them, right? We haven't taken every single one, but the bets that we've placed on the bets that we've taken, we have won 15 of those games and have only lost 4, and that has been the start of our season so far. Usually those, if you can get if you do a 3-leg parlay, those are averaging about +500. If you do a 4, that's at +100 or +1000. And if you go with 5 in those games, you're going to be looking at like +2000. So I will admit, get these lines. What I have noticed is that they tend to be easier to hit early on in the season than in the middle of the season. There becomes a little bit of delay once pitchers start figuring out strike zones. And I think right now you're even going to be seeing a lot of stuff going on with like the pitch clock. But when it gets to playoff time, it becomes even more, the overs start hitting a lot more frequently. Now, I'm not saying don't bet any other overs. I'm just saying that's the formula. And like, for instance, today there was only one game that fit into that slate. So we just took the one game straight up. That was the 4 o'clock game. I think it was Diamondbacks, Padres, and that thing smashed. I think it was set over at 7, and it was like 8-7 in like the 5th. So,
Heck yeah.
so again, right? Like you said, it's just one of those things where for me, I don't break away from the formula. Like there were a couple where I'm like, oh, you know what? Like that's only +100 for the Guardians games. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, no, I stick with the formula. I know what I'm playing. I'm betting that in. I don't break from the floor. 8.5, don't take it. 9, stay away. 8-6. That is the formula, man. That's it. That's the
You
formula.
heard it here.
You heard it here,
So write
everyone.
that down. It's like a cheat code from San Andreas. Keep that handy in your notebook.
Gamble responsibly. All right. Well, I'm excited baseball's back. Still got a lot to see. I'm glad to hear that you have full faith in the Indians right now. Oh, also another note right now is what I'm seeing, and because I just got back from speaking at a conference up in Manchester, New Hampshire, so got to visit back up, all the New England fans. What I'm getting from up there with all the New England fans is that take the over on any Boston game right now, because they're either going to get
Yeah.
lit up, or they are going to at least score some runs. So Boston,
their pitching staff's a little suspect, and they got some potential in those bats. So that's really
so Red
really
Sox,
great way to think
check
about it.
check the over on some Red Sox. All right, moving on. March Madness has finally concluded. I think me and you, we were kind of saying, we had a we were talking about this offline. We had a great finishing weekend of March Madness comparative to our first 2 rounds, parlayed with some MLB opening day, and I'm back in the green, baby. I had a great weekend, just enough for me to probably lose everything on UFC 287, Adesanya Pereira this weekend. But that's still on Saturday. That's still days away.
I look at the future. We got today.
Yeah, exactly. And happened to be that the championship game was on a Monday, so the books are still. I started off the week great, so we got a lot to lose.
We said it how many 2-3 weeks ago? The Huskies were blowing teams out.
And
UConn was playing their best basketball of the season, and they were kicking ass in the tournament.
And it was right after that pot that when we were talking about them, that's when I took the futures bet, which was +800 at the time. And I was just riding that. Yeah. And I'm just riding that the whole way. And they did exactly what we had said they did. They blew them out, man. That Huskies team. I mean, like you were saying, it's just every single week or every single game, they dominantly beat teams. They did what you're supposed to do if you want to win the national championship.
there was no question in any of those games at really any point who the better team on the floor was and who was going to win that night. UConn just they they were well coached, they were disciplined, they got talent too to boot. They just had all around great tournament. That was one of the best team tournaments that I can remember in last few years at least.
Yeah, and again, there were so many upsets, but when you get to it, you got to take the team that's been dominating the whole entire tournament. Like all the other games, I don't even think there was any really other games that were big blowouts like that. And UConn did it every single step of the way. So,
Didn't
um,
care who they were playing.
so hats off to the UConn Huskies. And the final four games were great. I do think that FAU San Diego State game coming down to that final bucket, that was
No,
that was wild. And I know, you know what? All the way. Also, I gotta take a pause here on this. For all the viewers who said, "Oh, we lost," if you rewind, keep the receipts. We said take FAU points. Okay, -2 or +2.5. They covered. Okay, we were hoping FAU would win, but we had to take the spread. All right, so I don't want to hear anyone talking about how we lost. All right, no, FAU lost. All right, that is why it is a spread. Okay, now I will admit I definitely had high hopes on Miami. But we had also said that that game will probably also be a blowout, that we hope Miami wins. So we keep those receipts, and you can keep the change on that one.
I got proof in my DraftKings that I had UConn +10 in that championship game, and I felt good about it.
I loved that text. Do we keep riding or do we cash out? Let it ride, man.
Let it ride.
Well, I was
You
getting
don't
worried
place a
too.
bet to halfway win.
No, and I was getting worried too before the game started because I'm like, all right, I got this +800 ride, and like all I have to do, and San Diego State was going to have his +300, so I'm like, all I have to do is hedge a little bit, and I'm still going to win money on either end here. But I still was like so confident. Now, one bet that I did sweat out, I had the over 132.5, and that thing was sitting at 130 with about a minute and 20 remaining, and then
Nobody wants to make a shot for a
yeah,
second.
and then I was like, okay, free throws. Here we go, baby. And then just one after the other. Finally got there to 133. And I know it ended up a little bit more than that too. But that first half was a sweat because they didn't. I think the over under was, I didn't take it, but the over under was set at 60.5, and it ended at 60 right on the button. So that, which is far off the pace. It's 10 points off pace for the 132, or 12 points technically.
Boy, are those guys in Vegas smart.
Wow. Like, talk about it, right, man? Like,
Isn't it crazy how close they are consistently on every freaking game?
they know it's the script, man. They have the
Yeah.
script. But although the men's basketball was fun to watch, I think, and I'm going to just say this, I personally think the most exciting basketball that was watched this weekend was Caitlin Clark over in Iowa. My God, talk about an individual who single-handedly is saving women's basketball. Top down,
Yeah.
WNBA to college. You're telling me right now, if there was
When's the last time that happened?
Tiger Woods saved golf, and Caitlin Clark saved women's basketball. That is the comparison. I'm making it right now. That is the last time it happened. Because besides the Super Bowl, everyone was tuned in. I was out at the bar watching that game. Everyone was tuning in to watch that girl. Now, I'm so happy, +600 on that South Carolina game. Disrespect on that, because I get it, South Carolina undefeated, but Caitlin Clark, man, what a high performance. I'm loving everything about her. What are your thoughts on Caitlin Clark?
Yeah, she's a great basketball player. It's no disrespect to any women athletes out there, but women's basketball typically doesn't get the ratings. It doesn't get the views because there's never usually a storyline behind it. And they've been pumping up Caitlin, and well deserving. She's put on one of the best tournament performances, male or female, ever. And then LSU kind of coming back, kicking back. I know there was quite a bit of suspect and questionable officiating in that game that a lot of people feel like really tainted that national championship game and the outcome of it. But still, the back and forth was awesome. Don't want to talk about any of the fighting or the taunting because you just in a lose-lose situation there. But it was exciting to see women's sports kind of get brought to the forefront a little bit. And, maybe if they had those type of ratings in the WNBA and they could sell out tickets like that, they wouldn't be as concerned about getting comparable pay.
Yeah. And I think, but again, I think Caitlin Clark's going to be that girl. And
Yep.
I know she's going to have a lot more bigger crowds at Iowa because college basketball, I feel like you at least get the student section. You got that going for you. But I do think that she has the potential to really actually be the face of the WNBA, and
Mhm.
hopefully she inspires other young girls and female athletes to rise to that occasion, and it can shed some more light on women's sports because they're athletes too, and they do compete really well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing as like when the women's soccer team, everyone tunes in for those girls,
Yeah.
right? It's like, but those girls put in that work, and I think again we're at that time now where this could be kind of like that spark that the WNBA could use with Caitlin Clark.
Got a
And it's
whole young
funny,
generation of
and it's
girls
funny
wanting to
you
show up
said,
and be
yeah,
like
right.
that.
And it's funny you said, you know, tuning in the ratings. They've put out the ticket prices for those games, and the lowest price ticket that you could get for the men's game was set at $75. The women's game was set at 275. So
Yep.
look at that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the proof is in the pudding with that. People, the real championship game I believe happened on Sunday night with the Iowa and LSU game. That was the game that I was more hyped to watch about than the UConn. And I think mostly because I just thought UConn was just going to go out and dominate.
Yeah.
And I think I knew this game was going to be something that was going to be really special. I knew there was going to be some trash talking. I hate to be this guy, but I do think the refs were too involved in the game. I thought kind of both sides got questionable calls. I think that the technical foul on Iowa on Caitlin was horrendous, especially when you got the LSU coach running into referees and not getting a technical. Again, we were talking about offline. If that's the NFL, you're getting a 15-yard penalty for or a
Booted.
booted. Right, exactly. And like that's in the rules. And she didn't, but Caitlin threw the ball behind her back and gets a technical. And again, that changes the outcome of the game. And like you don't
Yep.
say what you want, but you gave the best player on the court 4 fouls with anything to happen could kick her out of the game.
Yep.
And I felt bad for Monica for Iowa too, the center. She got into foul
Was that
trouble early.
first time or second time she had fouled out all season long
Yeah,
too?
and again, it was just really, really questionable. My thing is like, why are you getting that involved at that stage of the game?
Didn't
Why aren't you
happen.
calling it both way? And like again, they were getting. I don't think the game went on for longer than 30 seconds, and before there was a whistle, and that was like the whole game was just every 30 whistle, 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 and
Yeah.
it's like you're getting too involved here, and they really changed the flow of that game. But hats off to like the way I think Iowa handled all of that. They just took it on the chin and talk about losing with class and honor and just saying it wasn't their night. So hats off to them. Hats off to LSU. Congratulations. That was an epic win. I mean, that girl for LSU, Carson, who comes off the bench and scores 21 points in the first half. Talk about that girl was playing out of her mind, lights on
Yeah.
fire. That was a special thing to watch. Morris for LSU was just electric in the second half. There was just some great basketball that was played, and the whole world was tuning. I mean, they showed 9.9 million viewers worldwide. So congrats to those two programs for, again, sparking and igniting a passion for people to want to get interested in women's sports.
Heck yeah.
All right, man. Well, that's gonna take us now, I believe, yes, to the Masters. It is Masters week, man. All right. I mean, Live Golf versus PGA. This is gonna be the first
Yeah.
kind of
Could you just
event.
imagine a live guy winning, and you just see all 17, 18 of them just rush the green and start celebrating together.
And you know it's gonna be a
And you
party.
just imagine the shit show and all the chaos it would cause, and all the old people that just can't accept that. They accept any type of change or competition.
And if you're talking about a sport in which I mean, it's a hard sport to win
Yep.
any tournament. But if
Mm-hmm.
there's an easier route to where anything can happen, this is,
Oh, that's
I
it.
mean, yeah. And again, you're still talking about Live Golf's, although the field isn't as competitive, they have some dogs on their top 10
Still
that are
talent.
just as comparable as the top 10 of the PGA Tour. So this is a real thing. I agree with you because they already said that they're going to be standing on the 18th green cheering for all their teammates. Like once they finish, they're going to stay on the 18th and wait until every single live. And so, yeah, man, if it gets to a point like that, and
Ooh-wee.
those, and they don't have any, there's no repercussions to them if
No, they
they
don't care.
they
They
don't
got
get
nothing to
fines
lose.
from the PGA. That
It's gonna be some
and
Happy Gilmore. They might just start slugging out there and swinging on people.
and Greg Norman ain't handing out any fines. That man's
No,
probably going to be
the sharks don't care.
he's going to be sitting at wherever he's allowed to, which I don't even know if they're allowing him to be at the Masters, but wherever he is, he's just going to be smoking a fat stogie, drinking a beer, and just loving every second of it. I hope it does
Oh yeah.
happen. I think Live Golf and PGA is good for the sport of golf. I think that it needs it because it was getting so just stuffy and just boring. And I think for them to put, this is the stage you want to see it at. I'm hoping, and again, it adds you wanting to watch it. Speaking of wanting to watch, Tiger is back, baby. It's something
Oh yeah.
about him, and he looked good. He looked good enough to where the bookies have put some respect on his name to make the cut this time. He is at minus 300. So that was a lot because it was plus 150 for the Genesis. So minus 300 right now. So I definitely think Tiger makes the cut. For me, I have a couple top 10 finishers that I think are worth putting some money on. So some top 10 finishers that I believe in are Cam Smith, Bryson DeChambeau, Colin Morikawa, Will Zalatoris, Tony Finau. Those I believe have really, really good shots of finishing at top 10. I think it is the field. I think honestly this year the field's wide open. Scotty could win it
Oh yeah.
again. You could see a live golfer. Rory's on a tear. But the value side
I
on
had a
those,
buddy who told me that he likes John Rahm to win it this year. He said he doesn't know what it is. He's been playing good and he's got a good feeling.
yeah, and John Rahm's been playing great all season. But those guys already have pretty heavy. They're already heavy favorited to finish in the top 10. But those five that I gave you, they're sitting at close plus money, if not close to plus money, on that. First day matchup, a little good value. Sergio versus Tiger. Tiger is favored minus 104 or underdog at minus 105. So there's some good value on that. And I think that is a very competitive matchup. Sergio versus Tiger. They're both older. I think Tiger's got a good chance of winning that one.
I got a Tiger on a boosted bet. I think it was on DraftKings, if I remember correctly, at plus 252, 262, somewhere in that range. Just finished top 20.
That's
I like that. I don't think he's going to win it, but he's starting to get competitive again.
You're
He
looking
looks like
for
every time he's out there, he's starting to loosen up. He's starting to just seem like he's relaxing and just going out there playing golf, having fun again.
yeah, and again, you're putting money on a guy who knows how to get through that course. right? Like
Yep.
he knows that
Definitely.
course. He knows it well enough to shoot a decent score,
Yep.
and get through it, right? Like that's the thing. He's really good at course management at Augusta. He's been playing at it. He's been a champion of it so many times. But I'm excited. I can't wait. We also have, so please join us. We have our DraftKings, DraftKings Masters fantasy tournament going on right now. Please click the link in this description. That'll give you the invite to our DraftKings. It is a $10 buy-in, and the top 3 finishers will all win money. So your chance to win some money, and it's some fantasy golf. Nothing. I love DraftKings fantasy golf. It's fun because you got 6 golfers. You're rooting for tons of different stuff to happen. You're going to get points all the way through. So please join us on our DraftKings Recliner Sports Report Masters Fantasy Challenge. All right, man. Any other news you want to talk about?
I got nothing else really. That was pretty much covered it. Man, I think it's gonna be. I'm excited for the NFL draft coming up. I
Oh yeah.
still think I'm loving the chaos going on in Baltimore. As a fellow AFC North fan, I'm loving seeing that. I'm still thinking Irsay is gonna do it. He's gonna find a way by draft night.
It's either
They're gonna
that
give
or
up that #1 overall pick to Baltimore. Baltimore is gonna take one of the big 3 between Stroud, Love, and Levis
actually, just so
to
I'm
replace them.
glad you said this. Um, late add-on to the QB race with his latest performance at his pro day
And
was
how did I
Anthony
forget about
Richardson. And could that be the value side the Colts go with then instead?
and could it be, or does Baltimore try to sit on their current first round pick as well, go somewhere else with the #1 overall, and bank on Richardson being the next Lamar Jackson late in the first?
There's a lot of stuff, right? A lot of crazy stuff can happen, man. Um,
And nobody knows what's going through Jim Irsay's mind, not even him.
no, that dude's a wild card, and
I love him.
that's why he's it's one of the most dangerous picks right now because
Yeah.
no one knows what he's gonna do. Like the real life draft day, the movie that's really
Jeff
happening.
Saturday still trying to figure out, wait, am I the coach of this team, or
Oh my
who
god, he's
are
just
we picking? Who's that quarterback?
firing at the hip, baby. Pure
And
chaos, pure chaos. But yeah, I can't. Yeah, that Baltimore. Oh, I have no idea what's going on there. I will admit everyone had lots of fun opinions about um, Lamar Jackson, though. I will
yeah,
admit we read all those comments. Everyone had, which is great. Please tell us all of your opinions. We don't, we again, we say this every time. What do we know? We're just 2
we're
guys
not.
talking sports.
Tell us we're stupid, and you know way more than us.
Yeah,
We're here to listen to it.
we're just 2 dudes talking sports, and this is, again, all honesty, this is how I'm feeling, man. This is how I woke up today. I could totally change my mind
You
tomorrow.
want to see my script for the night? Here, let me grab. That's a blank piece of paper right there. See anything on there? Yeah.
Michael Scott. That's just life is just a blank piece of paper, baby. That's all it is. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. We appreciate all your support. Again, make sure you smash that like, subscribe. Please share to all your friends and family. And as always, keep the change.
Have a great night, everybody.